They say time is a straight line, that the past stays behind and the future is a promise. But what happens when the line gets tied in a knot? What happens when your phone rings and an unfamiliar voice on the other end says they have your daughter, while she is sitting right there on the living room rug playing with her dolls? I thought it was a prank call. I thought it was madness. But today, looking at the 7 scratches on the paper, I know there are places where we should never tread, and that sometimes we come back from there, but we don't come back whole. It was just an ordinary Tuesday, one of those days not worth remembering, but one I would now give my life to live in an eternal loop. The weather outside was ugly, a fine, cold drizzle typical of Curitiba beating against the living room window. I was sprawled out on the couch, trying to pay attention to the evening soap opera, but my head was elsewhere. The townhouse where we lived was old, cozy, but full of creaks. The wood floor would crack when the temperature dropped, as if the house had bones of its own. My daughter, Anna, 7 years old, was on the fluffy beige rug, surrounded by an army of crayons and sheets of paper. Nina had always been a quiet girl. She drew with disproportionate force for her age, holding the crayon as if she wanted to tattoo the paper. "Mommy?" Her voice cut through the silence of the room. "Hi, honey." She held up the paper. There was just a single black scratch, vertical, strong, in the middle of the white sheet. "This many days until I go to Aunt Renata's party," she smiled, a genuine smile. I looked at the calendar on the wall. "That's true, my love. It's tomorrow." I sighed. My relationship with my ex-husband, Carlos, was civilized. He was dating Renata, whom Anna insisted on calling Aunt Renata. The party would be at the luxury gated community where she lived. I tried not to be jealous of that perfect environment she offered, so different from our simple townhouse. The atmosphere was warm, safe. The smell of garlic sautéing in the kitchen brought comfort. That was when reality tore apart. The phone rang. Not my cell phone, the landline, that old beige device we keep mostly out of stubbornness. Its ring is strident. Ring, ring. I looked at the clock, 7:45 p.m. Who calls a landline at this hour? "I'll get it." Nina moved to get up. "No," I shouted, louder than I intended. "Stay there, honey. Let Mommy get it." The living room extension had been dead for weeks. The only one working was in my bedroom. I ran up the wooden stairs, annoyed at missing my show. I entered the dim bedroom. I snatched the receiver from the hook angrily. "Hello?" Silence. But not an empty silence. There was a texture to the line. It sounded like wind blowing through an underground tunnel. "Hello? If this is a prank, I'm hanging up," I threatened. "Mrs. Suzane?" I froze. The voice wasn't normal. It was male, but it sounded thick, raspy, as if the throat speaking was full of sand or ground glass. There was a metallic distortion to it. "Yes, speaking. Who wants to know?" My voice came out defensive. "Ma'am, you need to go to the condominium stairwell to pick up your daughter." The world stopped. The sound of rain outside vanished. "Stairwell?" I repeated, stunned. "What stairwell? Which condominium? Sir, what are you talking about?" The voice on the other end paused. I heard the sound of heavy breathing. "I don't know, ma'am. The building is tall. The sky is gray here." The voice faltered, like a radio going out of tune. Wasn't she wearing a green t-shirt when she disappeared? A nervous laugh escaped my throat. Relief came like a wave, turning fear into fury. It was a mistake. "Green t-shirt?" I yelled. "My daughter doesn't even own a green t-shirt, you lunatic. Listen to me. I'm calling the police. Do you hear me?" I took a step toward the bedroom door, looking into the dark hallway. I needed to see Nina, even knowing she was downstairs. you can go to the stairwell. She is crying," the voice insisted. "My daughter is right here in the living room with me. We live in a townhouse, not a condo. Making prank calls at this hour, you sicko?" Click. He hung up. No goodbyes, just the dry cut of the line. I stood there in the dark, my heart pounding. Green t-shirt, stairwell, condominium. I dropped the phone and ran down the stairs, skipping steps. "Anna!" I stopped dead in the living room. She was there, exactly as I left her, drawing in her pink unicorn pajamas. "Mommy?" She turned her head. "Who was it?" "No one, honey." My voice failed. "Wrong number." I stood there, staring at her. She was there, real, safe. Nina went back to drawing. The single scratch she had made earlier was now surrounded by dark shapes, black scribbles covering the sheet. I swallowed hard. That call wasn't a normal prank. I didn't know it then, but the nightmare was just beginning. The next morning dawned sunny. I tried to act naturally. It was the day of the party. "Today I'm gonna see Daddy," she sang. As I dressed her, my eyes scanned the wardrobe. Pink, white, yellow blouses. Nothing green. "My daughter doesn't even own a green t-shirt," I had said. I felt a foolish relief. The man on the phone was wrong. "What am I going to wear, Mommy?" I picked the prettiest outfit, far from any shade of green. This one, the pink ruffled blouse and the denim jacket. At 2 p.m., Carlos arrived. "Hey there, Niña," he said, smiling. "Ready for the party at Renata's condo, kiddo?" "Yes," Nina answered, running to the car. "Carlos," I called out, holding the gate, "take good care of her, okay? It's a big complex, lots of kids." "Relax, Suzane. There'll be monitors, games, all that stuff. I'll return her in one piece at 8. I watched my daughter get into the car. Pink blouse, denim jacket, safe. The afternoon dragged on. I cleaned the house obsessively to keep from thinking about the voice on the phone. At 8:15 p.m., headlights illuminated my living room. I ran to open the door. Carlos got out, opened the back door, and Anna hopped out. My smile froze. The blood drained from my face. The denim jacket was in her hand, and Anna wasn't wearing the pink blouse. She was wearing a baggy t-shirt, about 2 sizes too big for her, a moss green t-shirt. The world spun. The sound of the raspy voice exploded in my memory. Wasn't she wearing a green t-shirt when she disappeared? "Mommy!" Nina hugged me tight. She was trembling. I looked at Carlos, terrified. What is this? Where are her clothes? Carlos scratched the back of his neck. So, there was a little problem at the party. The kids were playing hide and seek in the building. Nina went missing for about 10 minutes. We looked for her, no one could find her. We got worried, but then we found her coming out of the fire escape stairwell. She was crying, kinda scared. At the start of the party, she spilled grape juice on her pink blouse. Renata borrowed this shirt from her daughter so Nina could get messy during the party. He pointed to the green shirt. I couldn't breathe. 10 minutes in the stairwell? Yeah, it was quick, just a scare, but she acted really weird afterward. She got serious and didn't want to play anymore. I knelt down to my daughter's level. I held her shoulders. Her eyes, usually bright, were dark, hollow. "Honey, what happened at Aunt Renata's building?" Carlos intervened, waving goodbye to his daughter and leaving quickly. I pulled Anna inside and locked the door with all 4 deadbolts. Nina walked to the rug and grabbed her sketchbook. "Honey, talk to me." She picked up a black crayon and started scratching violently. "I got lost, Mommy," she said, not looking at me. Her voice was hoarse. "I went to hide on the stairs. The door closed, the light went out, and the stairs changed. It wasn't Aunt Renata's building anymore." "What do you mean, changed?" "It turned into the Setealen building." I felt my legs give way. What name is that, Anna? The man with yellow eyes told me. He was kind, Mommy. Everything was very dirty, but he took care of me. Tears streamed down my face. Honey, Daddy said you were gone for only 10 minutes. Anna turned the sketchbook page toward me. There were 7 black scratches, thick and ugly, drawn there. That's how many days I stayed at the man's house. Those days, far away from you, Mommy. She tilted her head with a look of deep hurt. And the kind man phoned here, Mommy. I was right next to him. But you said I was here with you, that you were calling the police, and he hung up. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. He called? He called. After you yelled, he hung up. He told me to go back down the stairs, and Daddy found me. She went back to scratching the paper, ignoring my despair. Why did you lie to the man, Mommy? She asked, her voice confused and hurt. The rain outside had stopped, but inside the house, the air felt heavy, humid, as if we had brought a storm cloud into the living room. Anna didn't want dinner. I had made her favorite dish, macaroni and cheese, but she looked at the food with an indifference I had never seen before. It's too shiny, Mommy, she said, pushing the plate away. Shiny? It's just cheese, honey. The man's food didn't shine. It was gray, and it tasted like dirt. That sentence nauseated me. I quickly took the plate away from her. I took Anna for a bath. I needed to wash that filth off her, get rid of that smell. It wasn't the smell of a sweaty kid who'd been playing. It was an acrid, metallic odor, mixed with something that reminded me of rotten eggs and ozone, the smell of a leaking battery inside a sewer. As I soaped up her little arms, I noticed marks, not bruises from a blow. They were soot marks, impregnated in her pores, drawing strange patterns on her skin, as if she had been held by hands made of smoke and grease. Get off, get off, get off! I scrubbed with the sponge, desperate, crying softly. It hurts, Mommy, she complained, but didn't cry. Anna hadn't cried once since she arrived. Her eyes were dry, alert, scanning the bathroom as if she expected the walls to dissolve at any moment. When we finished, I dressed her in clean, fresh-smelling pajamas. I grabbed the moss green t-shirt, Renata's damn borrowed shirt, and threw it in the laundry sink. I poured bleach, detergent, vinegar. I scrubbed with rage. The water coming out of it was black, an oily black. The shirt was filthy with a gray dust that seemed never ending. I left the garment soaking and went back to the bedroom. Anna was sitting on the bed, in the dark. She had turned off the light. Turn on the light, honey. It's too dark. No, she screamed, covering her eyes. The light burns. In Setealen, there is no sun, Mommy. The sun hurts. Leave it dark. The man with yellow eyes said the dark protects. My heart was in tatters. My 7-year-old daughter was acting like a war survivor, traumatized by a week of horrors that, for me, lasted the time it took to wash the dishes. I sat beside her in the dark. Honey, who is this man? He's a resident. He said he likes lost children. He has very long fingers, Mommy, and he knows your name. My name? Yes, he kept repeating, Suzane doesn't want the girl. Suzane hung up. Suzane left the girl for me. I held her little head in my hands and kissed her forehead. I would never leave you, honey, never. It was a mistake. She lay down, turning her back to me. Good night, Mommy. Don't forget to lock the window. They like to come in through the window when we sleep. I left her room trembling. I locked the doors, I locked the windows, but I knew physical locks were useless for what was happening. I couldn't sleep.
Every creak of the house sounded like footsteps in my head. At 3 a.m., I gave up. I got up and went to the makeshift office in the hallway. I needed to understand. I needed to know if I was going crazy or if hell really had a zip code. I turned on the computer. The screen's light hurt my tired eyes. I opened the browser and stared at the search bar. I typed exactly how it sounded to my ears. Setealen. Enter. I clicked on the first link. Reports from survivors of Setealen.
I read ravenously. A parallel world, a dirty and distorted version of our reality. Accessible through glitches in common routes, stairwells, buses, public restrooms. The sky is always gray or dark red. There is no sun. The inhabitants have strange eyes, deep, dark, or yellowish. The tears returned. It was all there. I read a report from a guy who took a bus and ended up there. He described the smell: metal, blood, and sulfur. The same smell that was on my daughter's skin. Another report spoke about time. Time doesn't run the same. I stayed there for months, came back, and only hours had passed here. My daughter wasn't making it up. The mind of a 7-year-old couldn't create something so complex and coincident with the reports of strangers on the internet. She had been there. During those 10 minutes when Carlos thought she was playing hide and seek, my daughter lived a week in hell. And the fault? The fault was mine. The phone rang. I answered. The man gave me a chance to get her out of there before the rift closed. And I, in my arrogance, thought it was a prank. I condemned her to 7 days in that place. Suddenly, a sound coming from downstairs froze me. Scritch, scritch, scritch. The sound of crayon on paper. It was 3:30 a.m. Anna should have been sleeping. I got up from the chair slowly. The hallway was immersed in shadows. I looked at Anna's bedroom door. It was open. I went down the stairs like a ghost. The smell had returned, stronger than before. It invaded my nose, making my eyes burn. In the living room, the TV was on, but only on static, that gray hiss illuminating the room with dead light. Anna was there, sitting on the rug, wearing the moss green t-shirt. Wait, I had left the t-shirt soaking in the sink, full of water and soap. How was she wearing it? And why was it dry? Anna, I called, stopping in the middle of the stairs. She didn't turn. She kept scratching the paper. Her arm movement was frenetic, violent. "He wants to come in, Mommy," she said. The voice wasn't hers. It was deeper, distorted. It sounded like the voice of the man on the phone. "Who wants to come in, honey? Let's go back to bed." The phone rang, the landline, upstairs in my bedroom. Ring, ring. The sound echoed through the silent house like a scream. I looked up to the dark upper floor, and then at my daughter in the living room. "Don't answer it, Mommy," Anna said, still with her back to me. "If you answer now, he won't ask you to pick me up. He's going to ask to come in." My legs shook uncontrollably. The phone kept ringing, insistent, angry. I knew I should rip the cord from the wall. I knew I should grab my daughter and run to the street, scream for help. But terror paralyzes. Terror makes you want to know. I backed up the stairs, my eyes fixed on my daughter down below. She stopped drawing. She turned her head slowly toward me. In the static light of the TV, her eyes shined. They weren't brown. They were yellow. A scream got stuck in my throat. I ran to my room, slammed the door, and stared at the phone screaming on the nightstand. It stopped ringing. Silence. And then the voice came, not from the device, but from the living room extension, downstairs. I heard my daughter's voice, crystalline, drifting up the stairwell. "Hello? You can come in. Mommy is here." I heard the front door unlock. Click, clack. The noise of the doorknob turning was the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life.
The cold wind entered the house, bringing the smell of the street and something else, that smell of Setealen. I locked myself in the bedroom. I pushed the dresser against the door. I curled up in the corner, holding my cell phone, dialing 911 with fingers that felt like jelly. "Police, what is your emergency?" I whispered, crying. "There's someone in my house. My daughter, she opened the door. We are sending a squad car. Ma'am, lock yourself in and stay on the line." While I waited, I heard footsteps on the stairs. They weren't a child's footsteps. They were heavy steps. Boots. Slow. One step. Creak. Another step. They stopped in front of my bedroom door. The doorknob turned slowly. The dresser held the door. Silence. Then a soft knock on the wood. Knock. 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 "Mommy?" It was Anna's voice. "Open up. The man wants to give you back the jacket." I sobbed, covering my mouth to keep from screaming. "Mommy, he said that in Setealen everyone obeys. Why won't you obey?" The police arrived 5 minutes later. The sirens and the blue and red lights invaded the room through the cracks in the window. I heard shouting outside, banging on the front door. The footsteps in the hallway vanished. When the officers broke down the entrance and came up, they found me in a state of shock. They searched the whole house. There was no one, no intruder, no boot prints. They found Anna sleeping deeply in her room, hugging her sketchbook. She was wearing the clean pajamas I had put on her. The green t-shirt was there in the sink, submerged in dirty water, exactly where I had left it. The police said it was a nightmare, post-traumatic stress. They said there were no signs of forced entry. After the police left, I went back to Anna's room, tucked her into bed more comfortably, and took her notebook. That's when I saw the last page she had been scribbling on that night. It was a drawing of our house, but the windows were black, and at the front door, drawn with a strong, bright yellow crayon, was a tall figure holding the hand of a little girl. Underneath, my daughter's childish handwriting said, "Now we live here and there." Today, months later, life seems normal. Anna is eating again. Her brown eyes sparkle once more. But sometimes when the phone rings, I don't answer. And every night before sleeping, I put a chair against her bedroom door, not to stop someone from getting in, but to stop her from getting out when reality fails again. I know Setealen isn't far. Setealen is just a phone call away, and they still have our number. Do you have a story that no one believes? If you, like Suzane, have experienced something inexplicable, a time slip, a glitch in reality, or a place that shouldn't exist, we want to hear your account. Send your experience to the email in the description of this video. We will maintain total confidentiality. Don't keep the mystery to yourself. Do you have the courage to answer the phone after hearing this? Suzane and Anna's story reminds us that our reality is more fragile than we think. A simple wrong turn, a wrong staircase, and you could be in Setealen. If you felt a shiver down your spine imagining those yellow eyes in the darkness, hit that like button. It helps protect our channel against the shadows. Have you ever had a glitch in the Matrix experience? Comment down below with the word Setealen. The mystery doesn't end here. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to receive the next report. We are just beginning to scratch the surface.